Welcome back to the NFL Draft Bible Player Spotlight Show. I am your host, Chris Shanafelt, bringing you the names that you need to know first since 2002. Visit NFLDraftBible.com. Give them a follow on Twitter at NFL Draft Bible. And we are now joined by 2018 NFL Draft prospect, defensive back out of Missouri Western State University. He's Jon Owens. And, John, we really appreciate you taking some time to chat. We are less than 3 weeks away from the start of the 2018 NFL Draft. How's everything going?
It's been going good. It's just been kind of a busy time for me now, having to take these visits and just setting up workouts and everything with teams, but it's an exciting process.
I mean, can you believe kind of where you're at right now, John? I mean, coming from a Division II program, it is a Division II program that, in the recent years, I mean, at least one guy comes out of Missouri Western and they're in an NFL camp. So, I mean, it's not totally out of the ordinary to see somebody from Missouri Western gear up and get ready for the NFL. But for you, I mean, is it almost surreal that here you are going on these NFL visits when, the guys at Missouri Western, they're getting ready for spring ball and they're getting ready for the upcoming season, where in years past, the past 4 or 5 years, you were in their shoes doing the same thing. Here you are now, though, getting ready to live out your dream. Is it almost surreal?
Yeah, it's kind of crazy because, like you said, I was just in their shoes not even 3 months ago, you know what I mean? And kind of you always have that dream that you're going to play in the NFL, but honestly, it really didn't hit me until after Pro Day when I had really good numbers and, talking to all the scouts afterwards. And it was just, like a surreal, it didn't feel real afterwards. And I kind of, it's still kind of getting to me now when I'm going on the visits. And coach even asked me, he was just like, so man, like, what's your story? Like you're a Division II guy, small school guy, and you're sitting in the NFL office. Like how does that come about? And I was just like, well, I just got a different opportunity than out of high school than a lot of those other guys. I'm on the visit with guys from Texas, Florida, these big schools, and they asked what my school is. They never heard of it, but I kind of want to help, with the alumni who played in the NFL. I want to help put a name to Missouri Western.
Before we started the interview, John, we talked a little bit about how you and Darian Batts, who we had on the show a couple days ago, you guys not only were teammates at Missouri Western, but you guys attended the same high school as well. So you guys have known each other for at least 8 years now. Kind of talk about your relationship with him and how you ultimately wounded up at Missouri Western State coming out of high school.
So honestly, D-Bass, he's a year older than me, so he played varsity the year before I did. But I had a couple of classes with him, so in high school the football players kind of sit by each other because you know them. And we just started doing homework together and just started talking on the regular. And then we're always around each other on the football field. And he was just he's such a outgoing person. He would talk to anybody. So me being younger, a lot of people weren't really talking to the underclassmen, but Darian's always been just outgoing everybody, so we just kind of built a friendship. And it's actually funny, another school that's in our conference, Emporia State, I had a friend, and while I played in high school, he went there. And it was just like during the process, they were both kind of texting me because both the schools were recruiting me. And I just ended up going on my visit to Missouri Western, and I fell in love with the indoor facility. I was doing workouts at that time for other schools, and we outside, and it's cold in January, so I'm in a nice warm indoor, and they're like, yeah, we practicing here all the time. The Chiefs are up here, and it seemed like a great opportunity for me, and I was gonna be close to home. My school was paid for, so I didn't really have any issues with that, and it was a few D1s looking at me, but I kind of got overlooked, and Missouri Western just gave me the chance, and I just kind of ran with it.
And playing at Missouri Western, you're of course playing in one of, if not the toughest conference in Division II football, the MIAA. What was it like to go up against? And this is the same exact question I asked Darian a couple days ago. What's it like going against this talent week in and week out, where really you can't take any days off, no weeks off, no games off? I mean, a lot of people from other conferences and other schools, they say that, and some conferences, yes, that's true. Some, it's not so true. If I'm looking at the Division I, if Vanderbilt is playing Alabama, in the SEC, You
Mhm.
know, 99.9% of the chance. I mean, everybody's betting on Alabama to win the game. Now, obviously, anything can happen. Upsets do happen. But you know, looking at the conference in the MIAA, the teams in the MIAA, I mean, you guys are all so evenly matched. It seems like week in and week out. It seems like almost anything can happen. And talent-wise, I mean, you know, we've seen a lot of talent come out of this conference and into the league over the last handful of years.
Yeah, well, it's just like you said, man. It's really no off weeks because there's D1 talent all throughout this conference. You know, it's just got some guys couldn't make the grades. You know, JUCO late qualifiers and everything. So it's competition here, man. I could tell you every game I was challenged. You know, I had to really lock in and focus. And like I said, a lot of guys are going to the next level and getting opportunities in camps from this conference as well. So I feel like a lot of conferences who don't have as much competition, they don't understand what it's like because we kind of beat each other up, week in and week out. So by the time you get to the end of the season and the playoffs, teams are banged up, and it's been a struggle, just playing against the talent. But I really feel like in Division II, this is the best conference that would be able to prepare me to play at that next level.
He's Jon Owens, the incredibly athletic defensive back safety out of Missouri Western State University, joining us here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show, 2018 NFL Draft Prospect. And John, I mean, coming from Missouri Western State, there have been guys that have gone from Missouri Western to the NFL. An NFL draft pick about 4 or 5 years ago in David Bass, defensive end, outside linebacker. Michael Jordan, now with the Cleveland Browns, a cornerback, a guy that you're able to play in the defensive backfield alongside, as well as Sam Brown, who, if I'm not mistaken, is still around in the NFL as well. Now, obviously, the small school label is going to come attached with your name being from a Division II program, but it's again, we've said it earlier. I mean, it's not out of the ordinary to see somebody from Missouri Western or really a school out of the MIAA and see them make it to the league. Do you feel that you are still coming into the league with a small school, or does the small school label that you're going to be coming into the league, does that kind of give you an added chip on your shoulder?
It does, and that was really one of the things that I went into pro day thinking, because I was down training at a facility in Fort Worth, Texas called APEC, and there was a lot of D1 guys there, guys I had seen on TV before, and they're Big 12 schools, SEC schools, and I'm just like telling them my school, a lot of people don't know what it is. So I came into there thinking, I want to beat all these guys in every event that I can. I want to show that it's different in Division II. We aren't given all the extra, stipends, and we had to work over the summer just to be able to stay and work out. It's just a different grind that a lot of guys don't know, and that's really what I want to come in the league and just show that I can play with those guys from the big schools. It's nothing different. No, the only thing that's different is just the name on their helmet. You know what I mean? And a lot more notoriety. They got the TV contracts, so you see them on TV, and I just kind of, I think I'm going to thrive on that, though, because I'm going into camp like I have nothing to lose. They probably not expecting much because I'm, coming from a smaller school. So I want to go in there and shock the world.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, like you said, you're training, getting ready for your pro day alongside many D1 guys from some of the bigger schools in the country. I'm sure you could have worn a Griffins T-shirt, or you could have been walking around with your helmet, and you could have told somebody that you're from a college in Alaska, and they would have believed you because they were just unfamiliar with the logo, which, by the way, is one of the better logos in all of college sports, if I could say so myself. The Griffins, I absolutely love it. And let's talk about that pro day, John. I mean, it was one of the better pro days, really, out of any of the prospects in the entire country, no matter the division they're in. I mean, you were clocked in at anywhere between, I believe, a high 4.3 and a low 4.4 in the 40. You had a 43-inch vertical, which I have not seen anybody top that yet. That's actually the highest that I've ever seen personally. 43-inch in the vertical, an 11-foot broad jump, and 18 reps of 225 pounds in the bench press. I mean, incredibly impressive numbers that you were able to put up at the Missouri Western Pro Day a couple of weeks ago. What was your reaction walking away when you found out your official numbers? And was there any surprises? I mean, did you maybe expect to do better in one category? Did you actually do better in a category that you weren't so sure of? How'd you feel walking away?
So pretty much my goal coming in to the pro day was that I knew that I wanted to run a 4.4. Like that was pretty much, I knew a lot of the scouts were kind of questioning my speed, and they, size wise, I was good and everything. But when I had a lot of nerves coming into the pro day. I probably slept like 2 hours the night
Oh yeah,
before.
it's your biggest job interview, man.
Yeah. But whenever I ran the 4.3, because on my first 40 I ran the low 4.4, and then my second, that's when they scouts clocked me at the 4.3, and it kind of just was like, what? Like I didn't really believe it, you know what I mean? Like, just the hard work is paying off, and that really kind of gave me the confidence to pretty much do everything else. And broad jump, I had never hit 11 before. I had got close. I did 10-10 before, and I guess just with the the adrenaline going and everything, that's kind of helped me get those extra inches. And bench, I had never hit 18. My previous PR was 17, so that was real surprising. And but it was just kind of I wanted to go in there, and honestly with vertical, I had been hitting like 45 down when I was training, but we did the vertical like last after all the drills and everything, so my legs were kind of tired, but it's not an excuse. But I thought I was gonna do a little higher than that. I kind of wanted to. I was kind of chasing the combine record, which is 45.
Right. That's incredible, man. And well, I mean, needless to say, I mean, you certainly did save the best for last. I mean, like you said, a couple of personal records there for you in the 40 and the broad jump, in the bench press as well. So I mean, again, I mean, it sounds like you were you were satisfied, I guess I should say, with your pro day, as you should be. Again, a very impressive day, and a lot of guys they get this opportunity at pro day, and they don't have a lot on tape. That's the complete opposite for you, though, John. I mean, you've gotten a lot of playing time over the years. I believe you've been starting. Was it since your sophomore year was when you first began to see starting time there for the Griffins?
Yes, sir.
And, I mean, really, you haven't looked back since. I see this past season, you were second on the team in tackles, 95 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, a couple interceptions, a sack, 9 pass deflections, 7 pass breakups. I mean, and really the tape does match the stat line, I guess I should say. And then, seeing what you're able to do at Pro Day, I mean, it makes it even more impressive. But for those who may not be too familiar with your game, John, I mean, what are some of the things they'll see when they first pop in your film? What would you say are some of your biggest strengths that you bring to the table, and maybe not necessarily a weakness, but something you'd like to get better at?
Well, I know they're gonna see, I have good man coverage skills. They're definitely gonna notice my speed. I'm kind of I take those big hits, you know what I mean? I like to, that feeling when you hit somebody, and you know what I mean? It's just a kind of an adrenaline rush, and also they gonna see I'm dynamic because I can return punts as well. I was the punt returner this year, and I ended up leading the conference in punt return average, I believe. And a thing that I probably need to work on better would be just kind of playing zone. This was my first year, like, honestly, in a zone system where I was kind of playing a high safety in a 4-2-5, so I was kind of reading quarterback eyes, and I never really had the best, how do I say, I didn't have the best, like, coaching on how to, like, work zone, you know what I mean? It was kind of a thing where we just say read the quarterback eyes, but I never really knew how to. But I definitely, hope that when people see my film, they do see that I'm dynamic, I'm athletic, and I can tackle.
Well, I was able to get my hands on a few of your guys' game films, and hey, you know what? I even encourage people to go back and check out your highlights because you'll see it in there as well. Talking about your strengths, I don't think you gave yourself enough credit, or I don't think you talked enough about being able to lay a hard hit. I mean, that's probably And that's what I absolutely love seeing out of defensive backs, especially safeties, because I expect it out of a safety. But even if a cornerback
Hmm.
could bring the physicality and that you certainly do to the safety position, I mean, I absolutely love it. I mean, you know how to work the hit stick. And I was actually reading an article here from the Star Telegram. It's a
Hmm.
special on you, and it sounds like you kind of you're expecting to maybe I don't know, maybe not so much tone it down, but you're definitely I guess I should say keeping your head on a swivel for those flags at the next level when it comes
Oh
to
yes,
laying the
sir.
big hits.
And it's funny because I was on a visit with the Cleveland Browns, and I was talking to their coaches, and they were watching my film with me, and it was a play on my highlight tape where I came in. I just came in and hit a dude. It was close to being helmet to helmet, but the coach was like, "Now you see this hit right here? You do this at this level, you're gonna have a FedEx envelope in your locker by the time the game ends." And he said it's gonna be a fat fine. So I advise you, just they're trying to lower the target zone, which I personally think, well, now you're telling me to hit people in the legs, and that
Mhm.
could be even more injuries. But
Right.
oh well, it's the game we play.
Yeah.
But
Hey, and when you get to that second or third contract down the line, I mean, sometimes you lay a big hit and that could really mess a receiver or a running back or
hmm
whoever it is. That could really mess them up throughout the game. You could get inside their head by just laying a
yeah,
big hit. And I've seen that from opponents that you went up against right away early on in games, and it kind of just throws them off for the remainder of the game. They're always worried about where number three is at
hmm
on defense. So I absolutely loved it. It was a lot of fun to watch, no doubt about it. But that's certainly one of the top things that stood out was the physicality that you bring to the table, and it's a lot of it now. Now you have been playing safety at Missouri Western. Is that how teams are still looking at you towards the next level in the NFL, safety, or are you open to maybe playing cornerback? Do you have any cornerback experience? Has that been floated around at all?
yes, it's well, actually, it's kind of the nickel spot, because the
Okay.
nickel, you're gonna be pressed up at the nickel. But the pretty much the coaches have been telling me that I can kind of be a tweener guy because I'm big enough to roll down into the box, but I'm also fast enough to where I can still play high safety and be able to cover some ground. So they kind of saying I can play either or. So I mean I'm just kind of whatever they want to put me. I just want to be versatile.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it. A couple more questions for the 2018 NFL Draft prospect. He's Jonathan Owens, the defensive back out of Missouri Western State University, joining us here on the NFL Draft Bible Players Spotlight Show. John, really do appreciate your time. We'll let you go here in just a couple more minutes. Um, let's see. Being at Missouri Western, we threw it out there earlier. There has been guys over just the past handful of years, whether it's David Bass, Michael Jordan, Sam Brown, et cetera, that have experience playing in the NFL. By any chance, have you been able to hear from any of those guys or anybody that has any experience at playing professional football, and have they given you any pointers as what to do throughout this draft process and once you make it to the next level?
Absolutely. I talk to Sam and Mike all the time. Actually, it was kind of cool whenever I took my visit to Cleveland. Mike was there, so I kind of talked with him, and it was just kind of a weird thing. We both went to the same school, and I'm on a visit looking at him work out and everything. And he was just kind of telling me like, man, just enjoy the process. This is probably gonna be the most fun time, but at the same time, he was kind of telling me I'm gonna have to take care of the body because this the rookie camp like and everything. So I've been since football ended, that was kind of my break. I've been training. Now we train more only to go to rookie mini camp, and then we're gonna keep training to go straight to training camp, then preseason, the then regular season. And he's just saying this is probably gonna be the hardest part. So taking care of the body is gonna be the most important thing right now. And but yeah, like I talked to those guys, man. They've been there, so they tell me never hesitate to hit them up. And if I have any questions, I actually I think I talked to Mike before I signed with my agent. Like he was just like, man, he's gonna invest in you like that. He's gonna send you down and go train. Like I think that'll be the best option for you. So they really helped me out a lot just because I know that they've been through it, and I appreciate that.
And slowly but surely, I don't know if people are really picking up on it yet or not. Missouri Western. I mean, by the looks of it, you guys are slowly turning into Division Two's DBU, Defensive Back
Mhm.
University. Again, Michael Jordan, Sam Brown, yourself now. Very impressive to say the least. Now, you mentioned you did go on a visit with the Cleveland Browns. Any other teams showing interest? Have you made any other visits? Is there any other information that you could share? And if not, I mean, totally understood. I mean, some guys like to share that information. Some guys like to keep it, a little bit more, hush hush. But is there any other teams showing interest in you that you'd like to share?
Yes. I took a visit with Arizona. I flew straight from Cleveland out to Arizona, and had the official 30 visit with them there, and I had to work out for the Chiefs today,
Nice. Okay.
and my agent was talking to a couple other teams, but Baltimore was showing interest, and the Jets, and Miami.
Hey, I got think that's very exciting. Going to that Cardinals visit, man. I mean, what would that be like to play in the same secondary as Patrick Peterson and quite possibly replacing the Honey Badger?
It was crazy, and honestly, whenever the scout was talking to me about it, and he just said, we just released Tyran, and kind of we are looking at you at that nickel spot, and man, it was just kind of like a surreal thing. I'm just like, man, I used to watch his highlight tape before the game, and now, I could, if I end up going there, I could possibly be the one to, take his spot. And it's just been a crazy process, man. I'm
Yeah, man.
still trying to understand everything that's happening because everything's happening so fast.
I'm sure it probably won't even hit you until your very first practice, your very first maybe when you sign the dotted line on a contract or your first game. I mean, obviously everybody's different, so there's no telling. But yeah, I'm sure it's just all surreal. And again, less than 3 weeks away from the 2018 NFL Draft. Final question for you, John, and that is: let's say we have all 32 NFL general managers. They're listening to this very interview. Why should they want the defensive back out of Missouri Western State University, Jonathan Owens, a part of their organization?
They would want me because I'm a team player. I play special teams. I consider myself to be a pretty good special teams player. I'm versatile. I can do whatever they need me to do. I kind of can be a Swiss Army knife for them. I can go out and play corner if they need me to. I feel like I'm fast enough to run with the guys in the NFL, and I just bring a good presence into that locker room.
Hey, that's all that needs to be said. And with that said, John, really do appreciate your time. And again, was really looking forward to chatting with you. And you did not disappoint. Really enjoyed this conversation, and really wishing you all the best in the coming weeks as you get ready to live your dream and play in the NFL.
All right, thanks for having me on.